guys, welcome to a beautiful blue skies kind of a day out here in the Las Vegas desert garden. Today I want to talk to you guys about these beautiful roselles, how they've been doing, throughout the year planted here in the desert garden. I'll give you guys a couple of tips and talk about focusing more on the calyx here and how to make them into these beautiful, delicious and addicting jams or jellies. I will show you how to make it at a little bit later in this video. But right now I just want to focus more on talking about the calyx. If you guys are interested in knowing how to grow these, like more specifically how to grow and care for roselles, I'll leave the links of those videos down below for you, as well as to sunchokes, which is the plant in the front right here. Sunchokes are amazing. You dig them out of the ground and you can eat them raw or cooked. They're really delicious, really good for you. The reason I brought up about sunchokes is because I have planted them on the same bed with the roselle. Now these two plants are sensitive to the cold, but sunchokes are even more sensitive than the roselle. That's why they've already died back. This is definitely a sign that a cold is coming when you're seeing that the leaves are starting to dry and die back for the sunchokes. Now, the reason I've planted these two together, even though I actually don't recommend doing that, is it really depends on the situation, right? These two plants like the sun, but in this desert garden, there is a large tree that gives a lot of shade. A lot of shade, very bright filtered light. In most of the garden here, this is one of the very few beds that gets direct sun, like full sun, most of the day, and that's why I've chosen this long raised bed to grow the roselle, because they really love the sun. The sunchokes need quite a bit of a sun, but they might not like too much heat. But anyway, I've decided to plant the two together, but in order to harvest the tubers of these, you have to dig down the ground to get the sunchoke tubers. Ideally, I wouldn't want to be planting these two types of plants together because they both their lifespan is different, and I don't want to be disturbing the root systems of the plants that's living while trying to dig up tubers right next to these plants. Now I've been growing another type of roselle. I think it's called like a tropical cranberry or something, or hibiscus. They're so beautiful. It's got this beautiful deep red colored leaves. They're just so beautiful to grow. That's another variety. The roselles really have held up to the triple digits this summer. As long as you give them sufficient moisture in the soil, they would grow happily in the heat. These things start to put out buds when the days get shorter. So when it gets colder for us in the northern hemisphere, we have shorter days and longer nights. That's when the plant reaches its closer to the end of its life cycle, and that's when they start to produce flowers. Eventually these calyx would kind of swell up, and that's the time we would pick these. So they're actually not buds, right? The beautiful calyx you see here are definitely ready to be picked, to be eaten, made into jams, candied, eat fresh, chop them in salads, however you want to eat them, right? But you definitely want to wait for them to kind of bulb up like this, kind of swell up more so that there's more volume to eat. I like eating just around all like the red here, and then the inside is actually what holds a lot of the pectin. And then if you wait even longer, they will dry out and become seed pots, and then you can collect them to grow next year. If you guys are interested in growing these, I will be saving some of these seeds and making them available to you guys. I'll leave my website down below so you guys can pick some up and grow along with me. The calyx really put out the most beautiful red when you soak them in warm water. The colors will come out of all the red here. There you go. All right, so this is not a very big one I picked, but it just looked like it was easier for me to remove it without clippers. So you just kind of peel away the red parts and soak them in water. Usually hot water does a much faster job if you want to drink them hot. And then actually there's a little bit of pectin in these right here too. And they're nice and tart and crunchy. Really good with a bit of honey. or some sort of sweetener, just because these are pretty tart. But they put out the most beautiful red pigment in the water. So I love these. You can either dry these for tea or pick them fresh if you have access to fresh ones, right? And then the center here, this is the part that it would start to eventually dry up. This would be the seed pods, would hold the seeds inside of there. This holds a bit of pectin, but the more of the pectin holds in here. The center right here where it swells up, this is where most of the pectin is. So when you want to make a jam, you actually want to separate these two types so that you can strain off and just get the pectin from this and then add it back into your jelly. You can eat this if you can chew it well, but it's really fibrous. We really just want to use this to extract for the pectin. I think together they put out the most perfect ratio for making jam. However many of these calyx that you pick to make jam, that is, to me, that is like the perfect consistency. If you use dried ones, like just from the store to make the hibiscus, for hibiscus tea, you buy these ones at the stores, you would have to buy some dried pectin to add back to make your jam. But if you pick these fresh, this is your pectin right here. Usually you want your jellies to be really smooth. Blend them together and it just tastes so good. So addicting. I even like to make them use the jelly as like a very condensed version of the drink, and then just take a generous teaspoon or something, put it in some hot water or stir it up, and that would be my very quick drink that I can make. And I would just keep them in the refrigerator, make sure not to contaminate it, and it should last for a good few months for you. That is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification button for updates. If you guys want to support my work, please go check out my website. I will leave the link of that, as well as different ways that you can, show your support, which I really appreciate. Thank you all so much. Have a lovely day. I will see you right back here in the next one. Bye.